getting ready to teach a lesson is certainly one thing, but then of course you're teaching the class, and teachers might wonder how can they be sure that what they're teaching is actually being learnt. Uh, I imagine a lot of teachers have that doubt.
Absolutely. Well, this is one of the kind of the most challenging questions in all of education, and we're into the field of assessment here. So if you're trying to work out what has been learnt, you're involved in the process of assessing, assessing the learning or the learners, depending on how you want to understand it. So if we're talking about actually assessing on a regular basis, so within a lesson or at the end of a lesson, to check how much learning has happened so we now know what to do next, then we're talking about what we of course call formative assessment or assessment for learning. And formative assessment is something that we do naturally as we teach. All the time, as we're getting feedback to any questions we ask, to any activities we get the learners to do, the feedback and what we're noticing in the responses is helping us to decide if they've understood and what to do next. But with language teaching and learning, a key part of this is actually the skills practice. So typically in an English language lesson, especially in a context where the learners are able to use the language conversationally, we do a lot of speaking practice, and many learners find this very useful. So during the speaking practice as a teacher, we listen to the learners, and we listen to whether what we've taught them, for example, you might at the start of a lesson teach something new or help them to learn it, and then the speaking practice will often be an opportunity to practice that. And while they're practicing the language, we can then listen to them to see if what we've taught is coming through correctly. And of course, in the majority of cases, we'll find that there will always still be challenges the learners have with a particular area of language, because it takes a long time to learn languages. So if we take a simple example of we're teaching the learners how to talk about their past, we might teach them the past simple tense or the simple past, depending on what you want to call it. And in that situation, the analysis of the language, it probably isn't too difficult, but when it comes to practicing it, a very typical challenge that learners have is instead of using past tense forms such as I worked or I went, a learner might use the present tense, because they're thinking so much about what they want to say that they forget to mark the verb for tense. So yesterday I go rather than yesterday I went. And often it's not necessarily a problem for understanding, but many learners want to be able to use language in a way that kind of that replicates a more authentic, a more natural use of language.
And it's just a bit more accurate.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.